Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Best Thing Ever, a podcast about the stuff our friends love. Each week, we pick a topic, and one of us nominates it, or our guest nominates a topic of a thing that could be the best thing ever, a thing that means a lot to them, and then one of us gives a presentation on that topic, however they choose. That's a different introduction. That might be foreshadowing. Then we talk a lot about that topic, what it means to us, the history, the emotional philosophy, and then we rank it. We make it compete ruthlessly on the master list against every other best thing ever nomination thus far, because there can only be one best thing ever. Today's episode is about Waffle House. Look at that little house made of waffles. I love this picture so much. I might frame this. This is so nice. So we're going to be talking about Waffle House, including, is it better than the French Laundry? Should you or should you not start some shit? And I think I just glimpsed the presentation, and I think I saw my old headshot in there, so I'm not sure what that's about. All of that and more coming up. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, youtube.com/AlexFalcone, you can see some of our lovely visual aids, including this amazing Waffle House graphic I made. An AI made it. I asked an AI.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not,
but
you didn't want to handcraft
that's
it.
AI art? You're an AI art person?
I rejected several other options. Like, I knew what I wanted. I was the creative director.
Or like a curator. You're a AI museum curator.
Exactly. That's a skill,
yeah, but also,
right?
I know for a fact you know artists that could make... I mean, you literally took a job from someone. You could have given them even just exposure.
Do I know? Just the exposure. To be like, this 3D rendering of a house made out of waffles was created by my art friend, and now literally dozens of people have seen their artwork on our Figma.
I do think it's probably for the best that you did not have to go back and forth souring a friendship where it's like, okay, but like, can you make it look, can you make the chimney look crispier a little bit?
The number of times I went back to this AI and was like, do it better, AI. It's like how a photographer doesn't like make the trees, you just like line up the correct shot. And
the best photographers do, though. That's the thing we don't realize.
They make all their own stunts, basically. It's pretty good.
So if you're listening and you're curious what all of this we're talking about, you can see this whole slide. The whole slide deck is also available on our website. You can look at the Figma. It's also in the show notes and stuff, and you can learn more about it. But let's meet the team. We have an abbreviated team today. And so instead of graying out Anthony, I purpled him out because last week people thought that made it look like someone was dead. So now it looks like he's... high? I don't know, drowning?
It's like, or a cool down sometimes. Maybe,
right. That's right. He got too hot. We had to put him on a cooler.
Yeah. We'll get him again in a week.
My name is Alex Falcone. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. I'm your host. I'm a comedian. I'm going to be in San Diego, California this weekend, April 21st and 22nd. This is your last chance to come see me at Mic Drop Live Comedy in San Diego. And then next week, I'm going to be in Seattle, Washington at Club Comedy on the 28th and 29th. Those are going to be fun weekends. You definitely should come out and see it. And also, as you know, I like to introduce our hosts in a game that I call today. It's two hosts and a lie. So there's three of us. You're going to get three fun facts. One of them is not true. My fun fact is that I once spent 24 hours in a prison as part of a study in college.
Wow.
Is that true? You'll find out. Also, let me introduce you to the other panelists. Ezra Fox is our official marketing daddy, and he... on what listed as a fun fact that he knows the secret to perfect waffles.
Yeah, it's spoiler alert. It's our old buddies, yeast and bacteria. In the good ones though.
Oh, it's not
from our bread episode. That's not a secret. Everyone knows.
I'm not sure. I don't know if like gluten is a secret either.
Is butter a secret? Because I feel like it's just butter, right? Well,
there's that one where they can't believe it's not butter. I think that's a secret.
I tried a not butter. I absolutely could believe it was not butter, but it's still good. It's just like very believable.
I can't believe this is yellow congealed oil. I see why they didn't go with that. And then rounding out the panel today is world-renowned board game influencer Hunter Donaldson, who gave a presentation in high school on why 9/11 was an inside job.
So was kind of obviously it was a bummer because it just I was a 9/11 truther is really what that is.
Yeah, you were also a child, yeah.
I was also a child, yeah. Well, I was like 14 or 15. I wish I had known better. What's funny to me actually about this presentation, and the reason Alex is bringing it up, is because I forgot I was a 9/11 truther. And I'm being completely honest, after that moment of that presentation, there must have been something about the presentation where on some level in my head, I was like, Now that I'm saying all this out loud in front of everybody, this sounds real fishy. I don't know. I don't know if
it was that bad of a presentation that you unconvinced yourself.
I just think I did kind
read
of
your own email and then unsubscribed.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what happened. So then, that was like early high school, and then I did not think about it ever again until we were on stage at a show we used to run.
Yeah.
And it just popped into my head. I don't even think it necessarily had to do with anything anyone else was saying. I was just like searching for topics, and then suddenly remembered like,
but you were like, wait a second, guys. Did you know that I was a 9/11 truther? And we were like, did you know that? You sound like you didn't know that.
I couldn't believe it that I'd buried that memory for so long. That's the thing I really like about riffing in stand-up is like your brain is really going through your file explorer for like everything. You're dumping out the recycle bin and shit.
This is true of improv when you're not doing stand-up too, but just the most fun part of it. It also works sort of like riffing on a podcast, but like anytime you're doing that, the most fun thing is when you say something that surprises yourself. And I love, you can see it in people's faces when they do it, where they're like, they like went off on a limb and then the limb broke and they landed on another limb and they're like, I don't even know where I am now, but this is exciting, right?
Yeah.
I love this so much because, Hunter, now you are a 9/11 truther. You're revealing the truth of who was a 9/11 truther, which is amazing.
Which is 14-year-olds. You still should have known better. The question is, I think for me, what other conspiracy theory pasts are you repressing right now? What other things did you believe when you were 15 that you don't remember you believed?
I mean, clearly I had, I had a taste for it. Clearly, at some point I was open to this stuff. I will say I am related to like a person that is really into like aliens, like Dan Aykroyd style.
Dan Aykroyd is an alien?
No, don't you know about this? Dan Aykroyd's like a crazy like alien person. Like he just talks about aliens all the time.
We did talk. I think Anthony brought this up at some point as a story. But yeah. I vaguely remember this.
He's like, aliens are real and they're like hanging out and they like don't want to talk to us because we're so like lame or whatever. Like that's like the theory is that aliens
very plausible.
The theory that we're like a really annoying younger sibling to aliens is the most plausible to me. That they're like,
I think I'm now on board with this as well.
But don't make me hang out with them. And they're like, humans love you. They love you. You're like,
they would love it.
And the more they love, like the more people love aliens, the lamer they are probably to hang out with if you're an alien.
Yeah, I like thinking about the idea of them being like, oh, we're gonna come. You know what? Actually, this year we're gonna do it. We're gonna say hi, and then we do some like other like dumb shit, and they're just like, all right, no way. No way.
I mean,
there's like another war, and they're like, we can't do
of
this.
Aliens theory, which I've brought up before, is that aliens are so much more advanced than us. They think of us the way we think of prairie dogs. Mm-hmm. Where like some of us are like, oh, it's a cute prairie dog when we see them. In areas where there are a lot of prairie dogs, when they build a house, sometimes they have to like try to relocate the prairie dogs. But they're also not like super like if a prairie dog is like building something, we're not like, I think this prairie dog wants to talk to it. Like there's nothing a prairie dog could do where we would care about their intellect. You know, we don't kill them recklessly, but we're not trying to communicate back to them.
Yeah,
do you kill them not recklessly? Like you kill them with intent? You're like, this prairie dog.
I think you have to try to relocate them
and finds out
humanely get rid of them. So like when they need to kick us off the planet to get our water, they will humanely rid the planet of us.
Yeah. It'll be fast, it'll be quick.
Yeah, exactly. They put us in a carrier, they drop us on another planet, and then not notice that we can't live there, and then we'll just die.
It's just really like a much worse planet, yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, most of the planets are like a lot worse. So.
I mean, it depends on what you're into. If you like, Diamond Rain, there's some other planets that are great. If you like breathing, not as good.
Yeah, I mean, as real estate, I guess I should be specific. As real estate, most of them not very livable, horrible neighborhoods, all I would say.
I think Venus is dope. But it's not a good. I wouldn't want to hang out there for very long.
And the HOA fees also off the charts. That's really where they get you.
It's really ridiculous. Okay, so this, by the way, as you can tell already, is a slightly looser episode, and this is something that Hunter. This is what you want. You like to riff. You want to talk. So I'm letting us tangent a little bit. You have the control today because today we're talking about Waffle House. Before you talk to us about it, though, I have this little spot here in the presentation. For your first ever memory of Waffle House. So we're going to dive into it first. Tell me, what's the first memory you ever have of a House of Waffle?
I didn't get to go until high school because I lived in like Woods, Arkansas until about high school age. So like a Waffle House would be like kind of a weird thing to even have around, to have any restaurants. I mean, besides Cracker Barrel, there was nothing. The only restaurant I ate at until the age of like 13 was Cracker Barrel. So I probably ate at a Waffle House when I was like 14. And that was like a wild experience. And it was late at night.
This is why I included your truth or fact in your facts today, because I do feel like, assuming that's not a lie, I believe that like, if the only restaurant you ate at until you were 14 was Cracker Barrel, it's not surprising that at 14 you were still reconciling versions of truth, you know?
Yes. That's the thing that I think a lot of people forget when they hang out with me, and that I'm trying to remind people all the time is I've come a long way to be here, you know? And no one appreciates it. No one understands the path I took
we see you,
in
Hunter.
front of
we
people.
We talk about it all the time. Most improved. Hunter.
I am most improved. My life has been if you think about the sequence of my life, it has been all about steadily increasing the density of people around me. And I started at like 0 people density.
Right.
Okay? I started at like no people around, and now I live in New York City. So I don't even know how to top myself at this point.
I mean, Hong Kong?
There's much. So it looks like you can do Macau, Monaco as well, Singapore, Hong Kong, actually there, and Gibraltar.
Wow. And all cheap, easy places to live. So very excited about
just
that.
grab some real estate in Monaco.
Monaco real estate, famously cheap and affordable for all.
Yeah. Just move in next to an F1 driver.
Or inside of the car.
So when you were... when you were 14, you were like, I'm going to crack open the Cracker Barrel dining experience, go somewhere else, see what other barrels are available to eat, what other snacks are in barrels.
I actually had a friend group that was built specifically around Waffle House at the time.
This seems very plausible to me.
It does, yeah.
I built one around Denny's, so I get it.
Yeah.
I want to shout them out because I'll tell them that I did an episode about Waffle House. My friends Kate, Kelly, and Chelsea, the 4 of us would exclusively hang out at Waffle House late at night. And we started doing this in high school. We continued to do it through college. So we did it for years, only at night. I think one time I ate at this Waffle House with my dad, and that kind of sucked. But because we had to eat there during the day, and that's something I'll get to in the presentation. A lot of people that go to Waffle House and they're like, "Oh, it's really bad." Like I saw this like stupid YouTuber today that did some. I guess the algorithm heard me talking about Waffle House, so YouTube was like, "You should watch this Waffle House content." And it's some California guy, and he's like, at Waffle House during the day. He looks like an idiot. And he's just like, this place sucks. All his jokes are about how it sucks. And it's like, yeah, dude, you're not supposed to go there during the day. Like, nobody does that. No one, and it's like empty too. He doesn't even figure it out. Like, he's over there being so like elitist. He's in an empty Waffle House. It's like how stupid are you, dude?
Yeah, you don't go to a drive-in movie during the day either.
Yeah, you don't go. It's like, dude,
I don't understand.
So much, and to be fair, so much of Waffle House is a trap and a fake propaganda that they do so that they weed out, the weak people so that only the people that really care can...
Truth or shades again.
So it's like... So it's open 24/7.
Open 24/7, which is a trap for 12 hours. For 12 hours, it's a trap.
Yeah.
It doesn't really open until after 1 a.m. That's what the real people know.
Did you?
The party don't start till I walk in, kind of thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That first time you went in there, was it magical?
Oh, absolutely. I was blown away. And it was mostly, it had a lot to do with a salsa that I'll talk about called Casa de Waffle. That is kind of like the again, this is the thing. People think they know about Waffle House. They don't know about Waffle House. You have to do it right. There are a lot of like bad routes you can take. There's a lot of tricks and traps that they've laid just to like confuse people so that only the real ones can like get to the good stuff. And I'm going to teach you how to get to the good stuff in this episode.
I could not be more excited. Let's dive in now.
Okay.
Wait, wrong one. Here we go. Let's do a deep dive on Waffle House. Hunter, for the first time ever, you're in control.
Awesome. Okay. I want to start by reading a quote. And this is a quote from Anthony Bourdain. It is indeed marvelous an irony-free zone where everything is beautiful and nothing hurts. Where everybody, regardless of race, creed, color, or degree of inebriation, is welcomed. Its warm yellow glow, a beacon of hope and salvation, inviting the hungry, the lost, the seriously hammered, all across the South to come inside. A place of safety and nourishment. It never closes. It is always, always, always there for you. It's Anthony Bourdain, who ate
What's he talking about?
at a Waffle House in one episode of his show on CNN called, I don't know, I don't even remember. Parts Unknown, I think it was called.
Sure. I think it's
no
Parts Unknown.
reservations?
There's also no reservations, but I think
it was in Parts Unknown.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The point is he eats a waffle. He's eating a waffle. This is a very famous thing for just me and my friends.
Yeah.
He's eating a waffle, and he says that it's better than the French Laundry.
Yes.
The French Laundry is a very bougie,
restaurant.
very good. I'm sure it's
Yes.
great. Michelin star restaurant in like Napa Valley
Yes.
or something like
in
that.
the Bay Area. Yeah.
In the Bay Area. And it was the place where
It's
Gavin
not a
Newsom
laundry.
got in
It's a
trouble.
so the Waffle House, it's not a house. The French Laundry is
Right.
not a laundry. You just have to get
It's not
certain amount
laundry,
of
no.
artistic license. Yeah.
In fact, I have no idea why it's called a laundry place at
also
all.
don't-
It
Do you
used
know
to be.
this?
It's like the old. I'm pretty sure it's the old. Used to be a laundry. I think at one point.
Okay, so they took
think
it
just-
over and made it food. And
Yeah,
kept the,
yeah.
kept
It's
the
like
branding.
no clothing anymore.
Right.
It's now fancy food.
Very confusing still, but
It is. It's really confusing.
but I love this.
One
And
thing
there are things about Anthony Bourdain that I just loved, and that is one of them. Is just his like lack of pretentiousness.
yes.
Like to be a famous food guy who's not pretentious is like actually pretty hard to find. And
Yeah.
I think it's like basically there's the lane with him and Guy Fieri in it, and I think he was the better writer of the two.
Well, sure. Yeah, he was maybe a little more approachable.
Hey, Guy has some time to catch up. All right.
Yeah.
I really like Guy. I really like Guy
I
Fieri.
have real mixed feelings about Guy Fieri, but I loved Anthony Bourdain, and I think this is part of
Sure.
it. Is just him doing an episode about Waffle House. It rules.
Yeah, I also think it's important to recognize, like Guy, I think maybe goes a little too far in like the fast food, nasty bad food is actually great food kind of route.
Yes.
I think the thing with Anthony is he was recognizing the greatness in Waffle House, regardless of how you might feel about this genre of food overall.
Yes.
Like, this is the top, the S tier of essentially nasty, bad stuff you shouldn't put in your body, except for you should.
You
though,
should.
is the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is I think same the like the Roger Ebert like school of like criticism where it's like, what were you trying to do, and did you do that real good?
Right.
Yes.
If Waffle House was like trying for a Michelin star, it missed. It did bad.
Yeah. But that doesn't. They don't even know what that is.
They don't
Why
care.
would they even care about
Why would they
that?
care about it?
That would be upsetting to them to
Yeah.
receive that star.
It
do
would be-
wish-
they would not.
They would
take
reject
Is
it.
can
They would be like, no.
They would kick the Michelin man in his rubber tired ass, throw him out on the street, pour syrup
They'd
on
be
his
like,
head.
this is
Okay.
nice, but this is not our brand, and this is not what we set out to do. It's not our mission statement
Right,
at
right.
all.
Hear me out though. How
Yeah.
amazing would it be if under like smothered and covered there was just Michelin as like one of the options for hash browns?
Yeah,
which is either you just like rubberize it, or alternatively it's just a whole like fistful of caviar. Either
think
way,
it-
I'm happy with.
Oh yeah,
I
they
think
would do caviar, but like to hurt you in a way that would make it kind of gross. I
Yeah.
also like the idea that they would just take the hash browns with tweezers and lay out like 5 hashes.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say. Is it just has to do with portions? And
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
they don't change anything about it.
Price
It just
is the same,
if you want
but
it
you get way
Michelin,
less.
okay, yeah, way less, and we charge you double for that.
Because one
Okay,
of the things about Waffle House that I am aware, pretty affordable.
yeah, absolutely.
They're keeping it pretty real on the pricing.
Yeah, it's always going to be a little less than you think it should be. That's how they price all of it out.
It really is.
The next thing I have for the presentation, I wanted to point out
Yeah.
that this is the kitchen. I have a picture of the kitchen of the French Laundry, which recently underwent a $10 million renovation.
Right.
And then there is next to it is the Waffle House kitchen, which is less than
Yeah.
that.
I would say safely less. I don't know how much a kitchen costs, but if you could spend $500 and buy a whole kitchen, $500, this might be it.
It really could be. And the other thing,
Go ahead.
there's an innovation that Waffle House brings, which is that there doesn't need to be like every Waffle House is it's a one room house. Okay.
Right. Yes.
You understand?
Right.
Technically there's the bathroom. It's more of a waffle condo. It's a waffle studio. Okay. It is definitely not a house. There are not separate rooms for things. It is one all-purpose room with nothing.
Is there no waffle-in closet?
No. It's all there.
Closet,
they build them that way. They build them just big ass room with everything in it.
So the genre of Waffle House, I mean, Denny's is kind of like it, but it's the old counter service diner where
Denny's
it's
is
just
fake
like
as hell.
the cooking area is just like one long flat top, and they're doing short order cooks where they do the thing where they have two long spatulas, and that is their tool for all food. And they put burgers on it. They put hash browns and eggs straight on the flat top, flip it over the tongs, take the two tongs together.
Yeah, but
two things.
Okay, but where are they, Alex? Where are all these people doing this? I don't know where they are at a Denny's.
They pioneered
I have no idea.
the open floor plan concept house.
Yeah, they don't have that.
They're
in hiding.
Their room. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what makes the Waffle House a Waffle House. Now. I wanted to zoom out real quick, like before we get deep into just talking Waffle House. I wanted to go back a little bit in the history of the podcast. I want to go back to episode 0.2 of the podcast Best Thing Ever, which is a cool podcast. You check it out. There was a concerned listener that wrote in. His name is Gabe, and he wrote in to be like, the show's good. And then he wrote in this little thing where he was like, Hunter better not slack off.
I love that drive-by. That was
just for no reason.
Ezra or I. He just sniped at you.
Didn't even like y'all also supposedly will have to do episodes.
Yes.
And Alex already has done one.
I've done one now.
Yeah. So Gabe is just for some reason calling me out, no one else. And I just want to point something out. What I have beneath Gabe's little comment here, Gabe, is a photo of a Google Map trip. It's a trip from Brooklyn, New York, which is where I live.
Yes.
It's where I am right now.
Very dense.
To the nearest Waffle House, which is in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Now, 84.2 miles, 2 hours
84.2 miles.
You went west on Highway 78, interstate.
For a while.
Yeah.
Tolls.
You crossed state lines.
Gabe. Tolls.
If he committed a crime back and forth, Gabe, Hunter can only be prosecuted by the FBI, I think, now.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
This podcast has crossed state lines. It's out. It's a federal jurisdiction now.
Yes. It's interstate commerce.
Yeah.
Okay. That's this podcast today. Because if you'll scroll down even further, these are two photos from last night, 2:30 a.m. I am here right now, Gabe, recording this podcast,
this is
Gabe.
At 10:30 in the morning.
I better not slack off, Gabe. I hope I'm not slacking off for you right now.
I feel like we should say, because you said 0.2, so that was a test episode that we sent just to donors from our old podcast.
To people who like us a lot. And then we are now not being the kindest to them, I would say. But I get the feeling.
Let me be really petty. I'm sure Gabe thinks it's funny.
This is a reasonable response to Gabe. Gabe started this fight. Gabe called out Hunter for no reason, and Hunter answered him.
And now I'm just...
Also,
I'm just trying to get back at
Gabe told Hunter not to slack, and he's saying, look, I did not.
2:30 a.m. last night. That's where I was. And I'm awake right now.
You and your friends less than 8 hours ago, and it was at least a 2-hour drive home. So you're on max 6 hours sleep.
Yeah. So there were four of us. Listen, people that like Waffle House.
Yeah.
I just want you to know, it was not a hard sell.
No. I'm imagining me in this situation, and I'd be like, ugh, I don't have that kind of time. But yes, obviously, I'll go with you to Waffle House.
Right.
Yeah, I wish I'd been there for this. It seems like a good time.
Yeah. It's real good. So that's my friend Ryan and my friend David. David will come back up later.
Yeah.
In the thing. Here's what I got. Here's what I ate. If you want to see, I order. I get my hash browns covered, chunked, and peppered.
Nice.
Coarse. A lot of people probably didn't even need to hear that. They probably just know.
Okay. Wait. So
covered is cheese. Peppered is cheese. Peppers. What's chunked? Ham?
Peppers is jalapeno peppers, and then chunked is ham. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, I get that. Okay. Look, I had a call out on for my Facebook friends. A lot of people had very specific. What is the right hash brown order? So maybe we get into that in a bit at some point.
Yeah.
But,
we will be talking about that. And then what I get for an entree, which you don't have to get an entree, but if you do want to get one, I get the Texas bacon, egg, and cheese melt. It's up to you. And also, fun fact, I don't eat pork anymore, but my eating rules don't matter outside of Waffle House. Is something that I do. I'm a flexitarian, where Waffle House is a kind of DMZ for eating.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that's very fair. I think, God generally laxes the kosher and halal laws as well around Waffle Houses.
Yeah, we know that. I mean, when you walk in, there's a sign that's like, his, with the capital H, law does not count here. Like, he is no longer in control.
Or just like he's cool. God's cool with it. I think that's just what it says up top. It's cool with it. God says it's cool.
One thing I love about, and again, this is very positive, but I love that the Waffle House sign in yellow with browns is the color of all of the food on your plate.
Yep.
And underneath you have a menu, and there's two colors of all food. There is golden brown and bright yellow. Those are the only foods available at Waffle House. Everything on this menu is the same two colors. It's brilliant.
And you get bacon color, I guess, is the best other thing you could say.
Brown?
Like a little, it looks red. I got some red hues here. There's a, but yeah, generally, this
brown,
is easy.
Brown is not a primary color. But yeah, look, you see what I'm saying, though. Look at this wash
not
of
at
two
Waffle
colors.
House. It is a primary color, though. Brown is a very primary color. All right. In Waffle House. I also just wanted to point out for any big Hunter heads for the Hunter Nation.
You want some
want to point out that this is a photo of a plate of food with food on it, which is opposite my brand. I normally take photos of plates of food after I've eaten the food. Been doing it for years. I'll never stop. But for Waffle House, I do leave the food on.
Everybody
which is
knows
a big deal.
that at Hungry Hunter on Instagram, is that
Hungry
right?
Hunty.
Hungry Hunty on Instagram.
We like to keep it casual. We keep it casual.
Pictures of completed food.
Yes, only completed. And then underneath here, I have the breakfast menu and I have the lunch dinner menu. Fun fact: you don't really need the lunch dinner menu. The lunch dinner menu is a trick and a trap.
Oh, another one.
Okay. If you go to Waffle House, you tell me you ordered off the lunch dinner menu, and then you're like, "Oh, I had a bad time." It's like, yeah, you fell for the trick menu, idiot. That's not how it works.
You're not recommending this T-bone steak?
No, do not. Again, this is the thing. Waffle House they only want the people that really care to be big fans of Waffle House. So they lay all these little traps to try and trick you into having a bad time so that you end up spreading the propaganda that Waffle House actually sucks.
This is a worthiness test, fundamentally.
Yeah. It's very Buddhist.
Absolutely.
Did you give back the gobstopper to Willy Wonka before leaving the factory, right? Do you get to be in charge of a Waffle House afterwards?
If you order T-bone, you're licking the wallpaper where you're not supposed to.
Oompa Loompa's going to sing you out quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the two primary things we need to talk about are, of course... Well, actually, one thing I wanted to mention is, look, this is a menu with food photography that is food accurate. Have you ever seen that before?
Yeah, it's the kind of food photography you only see on like food carts and like really small hole in the wall places where it's like, you took that picture. I know you took that picture.
Yeah.
But for a national chain...
I mean, well, I will say, okay, almost everything looks exactly as it should be. I'd say like the syrup pour on the waffle and the butter pat, that seems like it's plastic.
Yeah.
The eggs feel like they're, like you could like lift them up sideways and they're also like actual, plastic as well. Everything else verbatim is like, oh yeah, like anyone like with a flip phone could have taken this photo.
Yeah.
I would even say the eggs look plastic, but that is also realistic.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Waffle House eggs look like.
But yeah, I would call this approachable food photography.
Right.
This is food photography that makes you feel like you could be a food photographer.
And also, I'm going to say, like, you order this, like, it's only going up from here. If you're like, hey, I want it to look like this, it's going to be that or better. I guarantee you.
You're not going to be disappointed when food shows up. I do feel like, Hunter, you should have a special brand food photography, a restaurant.
Ooh.
Where all of the pictures of food are the finished plate. They don't show you the uneaten food. It's just a menu like this, and you're like, this is about what you'll be left when you're done, and you're like, oh, I must be very full then if I'm leaving that much.
It would be funny. It would be funny if for some of the dishes I do actually leave like half of it uneaten because I don't like that
It's not,
stuff.
it's not your favorite. Yeah.
There's like a crumpled napkin on the top of it also.
The silver on it. This is a good idea.
God, people need to book me for this, okay?
Yes.
I want restaurants. If you own a restaurant, you need to get me to help you with some promo, okay? I can
DM
work.
him, Hungry Hunty. Not to be confused with Thirsty Hunty, which is his different Instagram entirely.
That's my nighttime Instagram.
Yeah, you don't go to Thirsty Hunty in the daytime. That's a trap. That's on you.
Yeah,
That's a trap. That's a different kind of trap.
absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about hash browns. We need to talk about hash browns because
Yes.
it is confusing.
It's a
called
third of the
Waffle
menu.
House. Yeah, but the star of the menu is the hash browns. You can get them a lot of different ways. Okay, I'll say one thing that's weird is a lot of people mention them being scattered. They're always scattered. I don't know why people include scattered when they say how the hash browns are supposed to be. That's how they come. They come scattered. I don't think you can get them any other way.
I mean, really, it's like because this came up a lot with my friends as well.
These are people these are amateurs, Ez.
I just think the scattered thing might actually be just like a silly thing. Waffle House was like, yeah, and ask us for them scattered, even though like I think if you said I don't want them scattered, they'd be like, well, I don't know how else we're gonna do it.
Well, I mean, I think I could be wrong, but I think on your trick menu on the right side, those look like they're unscattered, right? Like there's like it's like kind of just like a straight circle.
Oh, there was like a cup of hash brown together.
Yeah, but if you order, that makes sense because that's like it on a side on a plate. But if you order just like a plate of hash browns, I don't think you can get them to give it to you just like that. Maybe they will, and it's just because I've never said I wanted them scattered. They just come out like that.
Yeah.
So on this dinner menu, it says that they are the world leader in real hash browns, world leading server of real hash browns. And a lot of times menus will say like world famous, and I don't believe them. I don't feel like, I don't know if people in Bangladesh have heard of your burger. But world leader, this is plausible. They probably sell a lot of hash browns.
Yeah, Waffle House doesn't lie about that stuff. They're also top 4 for disaster relief for corporations in the United States. Which, if you think about it, at first you're like, "Oh, how cool!" But then you're like, "Wow, other corporations suck."
Yeah, they do.
Waffle House just makes waffles. They're not like they shouldn't be.
It's like, do you want your emergency blanket scattered, smothered?
Oh man, I wouldn't mind being a little chunked. I've been cold recently.
Oh,
you get one of those gray blankets, and it comes with diced onions.
How would y'all get them? I want to know how y'all think y'all would order your your hash browns.
No hesitation. I want it most of the way. I want it all the vegetarian ways because I can't eat meat. So I want smothered, covered, diced, peppered, and capped. That's what I want.
Yeah. I like to get it capped sometimes. It's good.
I love it.
I don't know if anyone else had my first interaction with anything Waffle House was the Bloodhound Gang. Because he wanted them like smothered and covered. It was a metaphor for other things,
right?
But that was like release. Yes, exactly. That was the humanitarian touch.
Yeah.
No, so like that was when I saw that for the first time. I went there. I was like, oh my god, it's like the song. So I think I definitely got it smothered and covered. But my friends, they were. I mean, let's see. We got like people were very much on this. Okay, scattered, smothered, covered, or smothered, covered, diced. And then someone was like, all of them basically smothered, covered, chunked, diced, peppered, capped, topped, and finished country style.
What I love about that is that's $5 for all the ways. That's so. $5 is a side of toast in most breakfast places now.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this, and this is we're just talking theory here.
Yeah.
I think they lose money on most of the items.
I'm not sure that's true. None of these are expensive things. Potatoes and onions. This is not. And their cheese. You look at that perfect square of cheese. They're not paying a lot for that cheese.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the way they treat me when I'm there, I feel like they're going in the hole for me a little bit.
I mean, here's. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. If anyone read the Stephen King time travel book,
1963.
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, there's one part where like, dude finds a time portal in like a friend's like restaurant, and the way this person like made like their food so cheap was that they got great beef from the past and sold it. Basically,
So your theory is Waffle House has a time closet, And
they all
they're
do, yeah.
using it to get
a waff-in time closet, yes.
They're using their waff-in closet, and they're buying potatoes at 1930s prices.
Exactly right.
They
that
show
actually
up
makes
with a
sense.
dollar, and they're like, give me your whole field.
One time, actually, I think me and my friends had a conversation at Waffle House like this, where we were like, how do we explain Waffle House? Well, maybe it's from like a parallel universe where America's not so bad. That's how we kind of settled on it. That's what we think the aesthetic is like America, if it wasn't so shitty, you know? That's what it feels like to me.
So here's my Waffle House thing that I'm going to do, and I want to know if this is okay with you. Can I have
go ahead.
all carbs?
Yeah.
Like, am I allowed to order hash browns, toast, and waffles? Like,
yeah.
And they won't even feel bad about myself?
Oh, there is no way anyone is making any comments or giving you any side eye for anything like that.
They gave me side eye for walking in the times I've been in Waffle House alone because it was during the day, but now I know why.
You shouldn't, yeah, there you go. See, they just knew you shouldn't be there.
To be fair, I still had a good time during the day, but
that's good.
I guess I do want eggs too, so that it balances out a little bit. But
yeah, those are your food groups.
I want an extra question on this one, Hunter. Also.
Yeah, what's up?
So there's some additions you can do on the hash brown side and the waffle side. Yeah. If I was a mad person, can I swap it?
No.
So can I have my hash browns peanut buttered and chocolate chipped?
No.
And can I have my my waffles chunked, peppered, and capped?
No.
Well,
no.
Here we go. No, let me answer this. Let me answer this.
Tell them to throw me out.
We are actually setting up very much my final bit very, very well now. Because let me tell you, well, I don't want to do my final bit just yet, but yeah,
okay.
maybe we'll move faster. But here's what I want to say. The staff at Waffle House, whatever you can cook up, Ezra, or me, or Alex, is not even going to get close to phasing these people. The three of us, we do not have the imaginations capable of the H.P. Lovecraft style stuff they have dealt with. So chocolate chips on hash browns, they're just gonna be like, yeah, whatever. They're just gonna write it down. Be like, all right. I mean, doesn't matter to me.
So funny. The idea of like a thing that Ezra's like, haha, look at me. And then you're like, I'm being a naughty boy. And this server doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Like, we've done this, without a plate, just to people's hands.
Yeah.
Like, you think
pour waffle batter on my face? Yeah, sure.
60 years of being open 24 hours a day. You think you have come up with something new, Ezra.
Right.
I'm so excited about your menu, Hunter. Sorry, I just looked ahead and I saw that your first course is coffee and a waffle.
Yeah, so let's talk about how to really do it, how to really eat at Waffle House. I got it in 4 courses. Yeah. Okay. And it needs,
like
obviously we've established it is very similar to the French Laundry in some ways, but it's got to be at night, obviously. If you go during the day, that's fine, and it's cool. A lot of us, like Waffle House heads, like we can go during the day, and we can still tap into that energy.
Yeah.
But for your first time, you want to go late at night. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you got to be drunk." That part doesn't matter.
No,
it really doesn't.
You don't.
Yeah, you will get into the vibe. They will help you. Okay, they will help you get there. So first course, you gotta have a cup of coffee, and you have a pecan waffle to start out.
Love this move so much.
It's like you kind of start with dessert. And the third rule of first course is don't start shit, okay?
Yeah.
Because like I said, the people that work there, they're much sweeter than you will ever be in your life, that you could ever hope to be. And their depth of character is deeper than anyone you have ever met or will meet, okay? That's how they select. They select people from parallel universes that are capable of such vast greatness that they have the depth of soul and will to be like, I could do anything, and I am going to work at Waffle House. Yeah. That's how they are. Every single one of them.
I love this so much. Man.
Yeah.
Hunter, I'm just so on board for this.
So the way you eat a pecan waffle, by the way, it comes with, it's not butter. Let's zoom in here. Yeah. So that is, it is called a whipped spread.
Waffle House brand whipped spread.
Respect Waffle House. It's not butter. It is a whipped spread, but you don't have to be weird about it. Just don't call it. Just don't get stuck on this point. You know what I mean? It's some sort of spread. It's whipped.
Yeah.
Just trust the process a little bit. I don't know what it is.
Like you've gotten this far. Don't be a jerk now.
Yeah, don't be a jerk now. All right,
Well,
it's got a huge list of ingredients there. Do not read that.
Oh, because I've read it, and I would just say it's got calcium disodium EDTA to protect flavor. It says it right
Yes.
there. So
It's
your
protecting
flavor
the
is
flavor.
in good hands.
That's the sodium on the wall, right? That's helping you sleep at night.
Exactly.
So you get that out of there. You get that out of that little cup. You got to spread that on every bit of surface area. Nothing can be missed. If you miss, you fail, and then however you evaluate Waffle House will be thrown out. We throw out a lot of Waffle House negativity here on this show. Anyway, so you spread it on all the surface area, and then you have to drown it in maple syrup. And drowning, it has to be drowned. It has to be perfectly just like, it can't look comfortable in there. It has to look like, wow, this is way too much.
To be
and
clear,
then
so your hash browns are smothered and covered, and your waffle is whipped, spreaded, and drowned.
Spreaded and drowned that's what we call it in the Waffle House community. My grandpa, David Donaldson, loved pecan waffles. He was a huge pecan waffle guy. He was a man of taste and flavor to such extent that many times when I was a child, I witnessed this man eat an onion the way you would eat an apple. Okay, and it was amazing to witness, and he was a very great man.
Acquired taste.
You or I do not possess the palate necessary to appreciate all the complex flavor of a fucking dry-ass onion in the middle of the day, okay?
Did you peel it?
You have to have taken
he would
the
just
first
sit
layer.
and peel it. He would just sit at the table. I'd be watching like Nickelodeon or something, and he would just slowly peel an onion.
I just
and then
shivered,
begin
to be fair.
to bite into it.
Just thinking
My
about
mouth will never close again. I think I will never not be shocked by this.
I'm getting like that, like in the back corner of my mouth, like I feel my my mouth buds tensing for the amount of onion flavor your grandfather ate.
Yeah. He used to wear aviator glasses, and he had a bit where he would put them, when I was a child, he would put them on my face all the time, and he just thought that was hilarious. He was a very funny man.
Dude,
very funny man.
Yeah. Mad respect to Grandpapa Donaldson.
Yeah. Grandpa Dave, good dude. All right, let's talk about the second course.
Yeah.
So
Second course, coffee again. We need more coffee.
Yeah.
We're going to have to drink.
Yes.
I mean, it's late. It's like 2 a.m. at this point. I mean, you have the
2
first
hours
course
to
at
drive
1.
back to New York later, so you got to be awake.
And then you have your hash browns. Have them however you want. That's the thing nobody says. Everybody's always like, the way I do it is, no. It's about expression. It's about creativity. It's about being yourself. That's why they gave you those options, so you can find out who you really are.
Yeah, right. They're like the palette. You are the painter, right? So it's like,
I've heard
Sort
it
of
has
like
to
me
do
and
with
AI
like
art.
I've heard it has to do with like the year you're born, what month, etc. That determines how you like your hash brown. But that's some weird Southern shit. Y'all don't need to know about that. But that is
absolutely believe there's like a BuzzFeed article where it's like which hash brown order are you?
Sure, yeah. What your Waffle House hash brown order says about your potential love life.
Absolutely. And then I got a little picture. I couldn't find a good picture of Casa de Waffle. This is the best picture I could find of Casa de Waffle on the internet. Casa de Waffle, it's a picante sauce. They have been out of it since the pandemic, and if they do not get it back, I might leave the United States. I might not stay. I might revoke my own citizenship if they do not get Casa de Waffle
You might
back.
go to wherever the language Casa de Waffle is from.
Yeah, whatever language that is.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you
don't
have to
know.
find,
But
according to this label, you have to find Senora Jackie.
Yeah, wherever
who's
Senora
the
Jackie
maker
is from.
of Casa de Waffle.
Yeah,
which is a
I think there's actually an
medium-style
interesting
picante
story
sauce.
behind this salsa, but I did not actually do any of the research for that.
Oh,
All right,
Gabe
what
is gonna rip you a new one, dude.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so sorry, Gabe. Gabe, I was up all night.
The first mark
but,
against you from Gabe.
but yeah, Casa de Waffle, it's so good. It is, you put it on the hash browns, it is the hidden final ingredient to any great plate of hash browns is Casa de Waffle.
Just wanted to point out that there is a Spanish word for waffle. I just think that's important to say. They're choosing not to, but...
Yeah. Well, I think, so it's named after, I think it's named, that might be wrong. Gabe, check me on this. No one else can check, only Gabe. Casa de Waffle, I believe, is what they named the first Waffle House, like in Mexico or in a Spanish-speaking country, which is where I think the person who owned that franchise is the one that came up with Casa de Waffle. That all might just be bullshit, but I think that's right. I
don't hate that.
I vaguely remember
that
hearing that, is what I'm saying.
I did find a back a picture of the back label of Casa de Waffle sauce on Twitter. So basically, it's made in the heart of San Antonio, Texas. From
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, if it's a Tex-Mex product, it would make sense. It's kind of a hybridization.
Yeah,
also,
the Tex-Mex
right?
words. I like it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Does
It
make
looks like
sense.
it's good. Goes on wraps, cheese, eggs, omelets, Texas
Yes.
melts, world famous hash browns, of course, grilled chicken, hamburger steaks, any other Waffle House favorites. So
You could put this on your
steak.
chocolate chips as
Yeah.
whatever I could. I'm absolutely, if it's a favorite, I could do it.
express yourself.
You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want at Waffle
So
House.
that's your second course.
Yeah, second course. Also, this is when you could get an entree if you wanted. But my whole thing is, if this is your first time, it is not essential to get an entree at Waffle House. Hash browns, essential. Waffle, essential. Coffee, essential. Casa de Waffle, essential. Everything else, you don't have to do any of that.
What about starting
okay?
shit?
Oh, well, you do not start shit.
Don't start
okay?
shit. Okay.
Just don't. Just do not do that. Third course, have another coffee. It's really late. It's so late.
Yeah.
It's so crazy late. You really need to go home. And I can't believe how far it is back to your place in Brooklyn. But have one more cup of coffee. Just before we go, it's like nobody wants to get back in the car.
Yeah.
Most of this night was the car. So who wants to get back in
Right.
it? And then your final course is you should go to sleep. After you eat Waffle House, you should immediately go to sleep. This is true across the board. This is why you shouldn't eat there during the day.
Right.
Because it's made... They are assuming when they give you food at Waffle House, they're like, well, obviously you'll be sleeping after this, right? Like, you're not going to,
I
do
love
other
that you
stuff,
have 3
are you?
courses of coffee, and the calorie count of Waffle House is still overpowering it. It's like, whenever you're going to nap, though.
It's magical.
Yeah.
I cannot drink coffee at night, but at Waffle House I can because it's like a magic zone where coffee is now rendered ineffective in that way. It's
there's some synergy
about flavor.
between the Casa de Waffle, between the whipped spread. Like it all
Your
plays
body
together
is
really
slowly
well.
shutting down.
Yeah,
is what's
your
happening,
body's
clearly.
like, I don't know what's happening to us, but we need to turn down. Okay, we need to power down.
Yeah.
Now I just need to tell you a story about. This is a very important story about my friend David.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell him that I'm telling this story about him, and it's going to be very weird.
Great photo of David. You really caught
So there's
the essence
David.
of David, of him
He
walking
looks like
in,
a
not
cool
knowing you're
dude
taking
who's
a photo.
going into a Waffle House. That's the best way I
Yeah.
can describe this for our listeners at home.
So I'd never eaten with David before. That's important to know because had I eaten with David, I understand he does stuff like this all the time. But this is an important story. It's definitely not going to paint David in the best light, but it's going to really illustrate the magic of Waffle House.
Yeah.
So we sit down at the table. We're ordering. Everybody's ordering normal stuff. David's even ordering normal stuff. And then he orders eggs. That's fine. We've all ordered some eggs.
Yeah.
Whenever David is asked how David would like his eggs, he says something I've never heard before. He says, "Can you burn them?" And here's the thing. Here's Waffle House for you.
Yeah, Waffle House like, okay.
The server was like, "I can. It's gonna take some time." That's all they said. That there was no like, I'm not trying to convince you not to do this. I'm letting you know the reality of your choice. That is gonna take some time.
Yes, it's like there's an additional charge in time.
And David's like, "Yeah, okay." And then what this means is that they bring, and it's Waffle House, so they make the food, they bring it to you. That's simple. They're not like timing things out. Why would you need to time things out? Just bring me the food when it's done. It's simple. But they start bringing all our food. They try to bring the eggs, and David's like, "Oh yeah, so this is not quite burnt though. Could it be like more burnt?" And of course, Waffle House is like, "Yeah, you're nothing. You're nothing to us." And so it becomes this it's a head-on collision, it's a game of chicken, really, between David and Waffle House. Waffle House having unending patience for any request you may make, completely unfazed by anything you could possibly come up with, okay? And David just wanting burnt eggs that I've never heard of before in my entire life.
How burnt
Can
are
you
we
even
talking?
burn them? How do you burn an egg, David? How do you do that?
Like burnt food is not good for you. It doesn't taste good. It's bad for the pans. Like how much And they're like, your whole life as a chef has been to not do it wrong. And he's like, hey, can you do it wrong? That's a tough. They're overriding years and years of training.
Yeah. I was
That's fascinating.
very annoyed.
I mean, how burnt did they get? Like blackened?
So they did not really get blackened. They just got very, very brown. And then this was the thing. This was the thing where David really, like, I was upset the whole time. I was just like very annoyed by this. And then we all eat all of our food, right? And they're still making these eggs. And of course, everything's chill. And they don't care. They bring it back. And we're starting to get to the point now where everyone at the table is like, David, you got to have these eggs because we got to leave at some point. So we've now eaten all our food.
Yes.
So you can't just sit on the eggs forever. Okay. They finally bring it back and we're like, it's good. And we are answering for him. We're like, it's good enough. That's enough. That's enough. And he has the audacity to be like, I really don't like them like this. I feel like they could be more. And I was, man, David, I hope you're listening. I'm just trying to hose you as publicly as possible. I will work this, David, I will work this story into my Twilight Imperium podcast if I have to, in order to just let everyone know what you did.
It's so, there's so many wrong answers to how you'd like your eggs. There's a few right ones.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrong ones. That's the wrongest I've heard.
That's just the wrongest answer.
Yeah. But I really appreciate the presentation, Hunter. Thank you for all of your work.
Yeah, this was fun.
Excellent job. All right, we're going to do an ad now. Today's episode is brought to you by Fauxchella, the fake band music festival. So last week I was advertising our novel, you may remember. Well, today I'm pulling my own chain yet again. I'm cranking it below the desk for another product of mine. That was a reference to before the show, which should never do. But Fauxchella, the fake band music festival. So last year I had this idea because I'm obsessed with fake bands generally, and I had this idea last year that I've bought a few fake band T-shirts from just like people draw them and then sell them, and because they're not real bands. And I was like, the problem is I want a bunch of them, but I don't want to buy 400 T-shirts. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I just had a fake festival shirt where all of these fake bands that I like were on the same festival, and the name that was obvious to me at the time was Fauxchella. And so last year I came up with this thing with Fauxchella where I made a poster and I made T-shirts for myself, and then I sold some of them. And it was a great imaginary festival. It had, the Oneaters, it had Powerline, it had Du Jour. It was great. It had a bunch of great Spinal Tap, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Classics.
Amazing groups of it. Captain
That was
Geek and
such
the
a
Shrimp
good
Shack
year.
Shooters, which is a fake band from inside a movie about another fake. It's like the fake band's fake band persona. It's deep.
Yeah.
And the logo is a little unicorn sitting under a palm tree. Anyway, so I did that last year. Well, this year, I got a bunch of messages when I did that from people who were like, hey, my favorite fake band is not on there. Why did you not include Pink Slip? Or from Freaky Friday, or Loaded Diaper from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, or Mouse Rat, So I was like, I probably should do a new lineup. What I started joking was, they're going to play next year. They're all going to play next year. They said next year. They were busy. So now it is Coachella week. Coachella was last weekend and this weekend. And so I was like, this is the time. I got to do a second. I got to do the 2023 lineup for Fauxchella. And so I made a new lineup, a new poster, a new unicorn under a tree. And those are the Pink Slip, Load Diaper, Mouse Rat are all the headliners. One of my favorite bands that several people mentioned and I'd totally forgotten about is the River Bottom Nightmare Band. Do you guys remember this?
No.
From what?
It's a Muppet. It's from Emmett Otter. So the Emmett Otter movie is about this cute little Muppet who tries to win a talent show, but the bad guys at the talent show are they're like snakes and badgers, and they're mean, and they're the River Bottom Nightmare Band, and they have a line in their song where they're like, we don't brush our teeth because the toothache keeps us mean. It's super metal.
Awesome.
It's a very funny band, and the chorus of their song is River Bottom Nightmare Band, and it's great, and I love them. So they're on there. Bunch of other fun things. The Doof Warrior from Mad Max, but he's doing a DJ set. Weird.
That's excellent.
Whoa, that's very funny.
Anyway, so I made that shirt, and then also I ran off with myself and I decided there should be a comedy stage at this festival featuring comedians from TV and movies who are not real, like Deborah Vance from Hacks and Fozzie Bear, obviously BoJack Horseman, Mrs. Maisel, and Jerry Seinfeld, the character, not the actor.
Right.
And my favorite one on here is Jamal Spelling, which I'm sure you guys do not remember. I would give you $1 million if you remember Jamal Spelling. Jamal Spelling
Don't remember.
Nope.
is from an episode of Pinky and the Brain, where the brain decided to take over the world by being an insult comic. And he just, because he tried to be a good comic and then he bombed, and he just told everybody that they were stupid, but in the most like, you're repugnant, like really over the top language.
Yeah.
And then that worked. And for some reason, I've thought of that once a month since it happened in like 2000. I just think about it all the time. And so as soon as I was like, fake comedians, well, it's got to be Jamal Spelling, you're repugnant guy. So he's on there, which I really like. Anyway, so and the Fauxchella Comedy Stage is a unicorn doing stand-up. Not as popular as the Fauxchella Music Festival, since I released this yesterday. But anyway, this is all out now. You can look at it. You can get posters, T-shirts, hoodies, the whole thing for both this year and last year and the Comedy Stage at Fauxchella.art. Fauxchella.art. It will take you to my store where you can buy those things. And it's been a crazy 24 hours. People have really enjoyed this. It's kind of gotten away from me. So I just thought I would let you guys know about it and tell you guys a little more about the history of it. But yeah, that's our sponsor today is the Fauxchella Fake Band Music Festival and Fake Comedian Music Festival, Fauxchella.art.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love it.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Why is it a unicorn as the logo?
I was thinking because something not real. I wanted something magical,
unicorns aren't
something
real?
mystical. Yes, well, they're extinct. They used to be around in the
I just
Bible.
thought, aren't unicorns? Doesn't that mean like you're looking for like a threesome or something? Isn't that like what? Because I just feel like for an actual music festival, it maybe like it would be kind of. I just feel like it'd be kind of signaling something.
I'm gonna very carefully Google unicorn threesome, but I'm very scared of what I'm gonna get.
I'm pretty sure unicorns are like people like looking to like.
the unicorn is when you're a couple and you want a third.
Oh, is that what it is?
Pop in
Oh,
there.
okay.
And they're called unicorns because they're hard to find. That's the reason for that slang. But they are also.
I'm gonna close this browser right now.
Daddy got in trouble.
Other things. It's just like the pineapple means something to swingers, but it also means something to pizza makers and people from Hawaii. And like
the same
you
thing.
can't let
It's the same thing to
perverts
everyone.
Making a great
take
point.
everything from you.
Yeah, I think I just think in terms of that.
You just think in terms of
but
threesomes all the time.
Yeah, that's how my brain works.
So my
is
thought
I
was
just
two
think
things.
those
I was trying to think of like what would be the character that would appear. What would be the I wanted a magical, imaginary thing to be at this festival, and then I thought unicorns have brightly colored hair a lot of the time, and so they look kind of like festival goers. They look like they'd be at a festival having a good time. And the one for the comedy festival, I made it so he's balding a little bit. He's still got blue hair, but it's like pulled back a bit. Anyway, yeah, that's a good question. Fauxchella.art.
Yeah. So you're not like secretly like a swinger or something right?
This
like,
shirt is not
your way of...
guaranteed to make a couple proposition you. I can't say whether or not it will, but I will not guarantee it for sure. All that and more, Fauxchella.art. Thanks for letting me sell my own stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a short period of time remaining. In that short period of time, so we've slowly changed this segment from a 3-step review process. It was down to a 2-step review process. Now it's a 1-step review, and here's what it is. Here's what I'm thinking for this right now. We're going to rank this next. That's the next thing we're going to do. We learned a lot about it. We learned about the history and what it meant to you. We're going to rank it. So before we rank Waffle House, let's just make sure we're bringing into the discussion the best version of it, the best things about it. So let's just list our things about it that make it a strong contender on the master list when that's about to come up. I'm gonna throw out some positives about this that I think make it a strong contender coming up here in a second. I love places that are 24 hours. 24-hour places are amazing. They're really, really useful. I spent a lot of time in late nights at Denny's as a kid because it was a place we could hang out that was not a bar. I also frequently, we have weird comedy lifestyles. We end up busy until midnight and want to go hang out afterwards. Waffle House is great for that. I love anything that's 24 hours. This is a little more specific to me, but short order cooks, my favorite cooks. I love short order cooks so much that's the kind of cook that you have on that, just like a big flat top. You do like 12 things and you do it quickly and you know exactly what you're doing. And I just admire it so much. When I worked at a casino, we had like an employee dining room and there was a cook there, Chef Randy, who worked the overnight shift with me, and it was not very crowded at night because it was not as busy, and I had nothing to do, so I would just go in and hang out with Chef Randy and watch him cook food for the staff, and it was like the nicest dude, and his skill set is I just love people who make eggs are one of my favorite things. There was a New York Times article called "The Eggmen" years ago that was about Las Vegas egg cooks, because like you have to keep a lot of tiny timers in your head at the same time, like lots and lots of them. Eggs are easy to cook wrong, except for David. But like, anyway, so I love shorter cooks. Also, waffles. I love waffles. I love waffles. Like, pancakes are amazing, but waffles are like, what if there was more surface area? What if your pancake had more crispy bits? And I love that about it.
Yep. I have a lot of love for the staff. Obviously, that was kind of baked into the presentation a lot. Yeah. I love the people that work at Waffle House. I'll say one thing I haven't said about them thus far. Right now, I'm single, and I'm just putting that out there. That has nothing to do with my point. No. Sometimes I want someone to call me
I'm
honey.
for a couple to take me to Waffle House.
Sometimes I just want someone to call me honey or sweetheart.
Or to be a unicorn.
Yeah, I don't want that, but I do want someone to call me honey or sweetheart.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
in New York City, I can't go somewhere and just be called honey or sweetheart.
No,
but if I live near a Waffle House, I could get that treatment all the time. I'm always honey and sweetheart at Waffle House. Yeah, and that's it's an important thing, and I need that sometimes. Everybody needs that a little bit.
I love that. Another thing about Waffle House, they know when the hurricanes are coming. There's this famous thing that if the Waffle House doesn't close, people don't leave town. And when it closes, you're like, oh shit, this one's real. And then they actually leave during the hurricane. Very reliable.
Well, yeah, and that kind of relates back to the staff. If the people at Waffle House are saying like, I don't think we should be here for this hurricane, then there's no way you should be there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, if they can't handle
you are so much less than they are. You know what I mean?
As some more things.
So, I mean, I like a choose your own adventure without judgment. I think it's great. That's why I like my specific in and out order as well. I like it where they're just like, we gave you the tools, you do you. That's really nice. Affordability is really good. Also in terms of, I like it where
Huge.
It's at the price point where you feel comfortable and safe experimenting. I think it's really nice. It's rare just also to have two hits. Right? So it's like the waffles are really good. The hash browns also being amazing. That's not easy to do, right? Usually kind of like...
It is too bad they didn't start there because Hash Brown House has the alliteration that Waffle House doesn't.
It's true.
I mean, Hash House I feel like is a different place entirely.
Hash House is also already taken.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
I like a trap order as well. I think that's fun where it's like, hey, this is where the suckers go. The mugs are sturdy. My parents, when we went there, we bought.
Yeah, I love a sturdy. I don't love a sturdy mug at home because it only holds like 6 ounces of coffee. But if there's refills coming, I want a big hefty mug.
And it holds the heat better, I guess. But also, they bought some of the mugs when we were there on a trip. I think we were going from Memphis to New Orleans, I think, and we hit up Waffle's house on the way. It was daytime, but we got the mugs to go, and that was pretty nice too. And,
nice.
Then I think just that it factor. I asked people about this, and they really did care quite a bit. So I think that's really nice. I appreciate. I think anytime it's like, oh, this is very much like a if you know kind of thing that people are really will go to bat for Waffle House. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things about them that's kind of annoying sometimes is that it's only regional. They're not everywhere. But I also kind of like, because so many towns feel the same when you travel, places that all of a sudden feel like you're in a different zone of the country is kind of fun. Where I'm like, I get to be excited because I saw Waffle Houses again. Portland had a place called the 24-Hour Hotcake House, which clearly had stuff in common with Waffle House. It wasn't a perfect analog, but it definitely had a lot of hash browns. It got wild, but not too wild. It was open 24 hours a day. And when I won Portland's Funniest Person, I had said for years, if I ever win, instead of going to a bar like other people do, I'm going to go to Waffle House and buy anybody who shows up waffles, or go to the 24-Hour Hotcake House. So I just bought people hotcakes all night, and it was a really good time. And that's a really strong memory for me.
I feel like that wild but not too wild is tough to nail down. There's definitely a vibe at Waffle House. And again, I think it comes back to the staff, the people that work there. I mean, half of them are like wizards of some kind or have like necromancer powers. So like, if you do get too wild, you're going to get turned into a newt or cursed into another dimension or whatever.
I mean, it does, but they will fight you, right? Like if somebody starts some shit, like all of the people in Waffle House will get together and throw you out with no hesitation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're prepared to do that at a moment's notice. But a lot of them can use like hypnosis and various other like mind tricks to sort of like cool down any possible altercation before it breaks out and something. You compare that to like, I hang out a lot of places late at night, like an IHOP. They're just not prepared. No. I don't want to throw any shade, but it's a little bit, I think a lot of people do time in IHOP to prepare for an eventual foray into the world of Waffle House.
Get to Waffle House later.
It's training, yeah. It's a bit of a younger staff, and they're not at the end of their journey yet. They haven't assembled all of the various magical items they will need to combat the night.
I think we've done it. I think we've built a very strong warrior to take into our next segment. So let's rank it on the master list. Hunter, will you please read us the master list of best things ever in order as they currently stand?
Okay. Number 1 is warm beverages. Number 2, My Neighbor Totoro. Number 3, romance novels. Number 4, pro wrestling. Number 5, trees. Number 6, fresh bread. Number 7, stand-up comedy. Number 8, cat videos. Number 9, Halo playing with the boys.
Where does Waffle House land on this list for you, Hunbun?
For me, well, it's definitely my favorite thing that we have talked about. It is the thing that I have no issue backing up, and I feel like the time that I've spent there has been quality, and it's been so much of, at this point, it's been over half my life.
In a Waffle House.
A giant Waffle House. Yeah, I'm in a Waffle House regularly for over half my life. So I will say that it's, I'm not of the philosophy that just because for me it's number 1, that it has to be number 1 and that I must argue for specifically that place. But if you're asking me what my individual vote is based off what we've talked about thus far, Waffle House is like probably my top 10 favorite things ever. Just in general.
Well, great news. This is a list that will have 10 things as soon as we're done with it. So it's going to be on the top 10 things of ours, best thing ever.
Where do you feels fall? Like it's top half for me, at least. I feel comfortable saying that. Like, just because I think, possibly it's somewhere in the top 3, I guess. It feels strong, right? Like, we have a lot of warm beverages baked in, but also things that are food as well. Like, essentially, a waffle is a very good version of a fresh bread, I would say. Really there's the best, the fruits of trees. Actually, wait, no, never mind. I feel like there's almost nothing. There's no fruit, I guess, at all. Nothing tree based from this.
No, I don't know. I mean, you get tomatoes, but they're coming off a vine.
Yeah.
Hopefully not a lot of fruit. I'm not guessing the fruit's great. Look, I love where everyone's going with this. This is an easy 2 for me. Like, looking at this list, the way it makes me feel inside, just thinking about it, has got to be number 2. I mean, I feel like if I never went to a Waffle House again, I would not be as crushed as if I could never have a warm beverage ever again. Like, I couldn't really handle that. Also, just the global appeal of warm beverages versus the regional appeal of Waffle House makes it a little bit stronger for me. But man, just the glow, like, My Neighbor Totoro, I think is fine. Romance novels, I don't like, but I appreciate other people's like of them. Same with wrestling. Trees are amazing, but I don't get. But I got giddy hearing you talk about Waffle House. I feel it. So
yeah, I almost debated like making it more universal because there are remarkably a lot of chains that are kind of similar to Waffle House with other like really heartwarming vibes. Like, there's this place in South America called Crepes and Waffles. It's actually it's a Colombian chain, and the way it's very similar food presented in, I would say, it's presented better. It's healthier food than Waffle House for sure. It has like a really good salad bar, which is like kind of important in Colombia. It's kind of hard to find. Actually, like a lot of vegetables, just in general. That's actually kind of tough.
Yeah.
Vegetarians really struggle there. But the thing about Crepes and Waffles that's wild is they employ almost exclusively, but not entirely, single mothers in the kitchen. So the kitchen is all like moms, like women that are supporting households, like that are head of household, that are like supporting children on their own and stuff like that. And that is like such a wild concept to me, but the vibe of the place is unbelievable. If you're ever in Colombia, or I think they have them all over, or they're expanding through South America at this point, but Crepes and Waffles, a really cool place.
I think we should just do it. I think we should not overthink it.
I think number 2.
I think we have 1 and 3 and top 3 and 2. I think this is a clear 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I feel really good about this.
Ez?
I think I like the idea of putting it top so people will maybe make that trip if they haven't gone.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Hunter, one more time. Give me the list.
The new list. Number 1, warm beverages. Number 2, Waffle House. Number 3, My Neighbor Totoro. Number 4, romance novels. Number 5, novels. That's what I said. Number 5, pro wrestling. Number 6, trees. Number 7, fresh bread. Number 8, stand-up comedy. Number 9, cat videos. And number 10, playing Halo with the boys.
We got one more thing to do, and then we go. All right, really quick, we got a couple of things from the mailbag. She Who Speaks in Verse commented on our last episode and said, I loved having the update about hardcore bandage because I was wondering about it, but didn't want to pressure, so I didn't want to ask. So that was the follow-up to Ezra and I's best-selling novel that we did not write because it was too gross. I will say, in that regard, because Robin also responded that she might be willing to take on the task of writing mummy filth on her own. You guys may remember last year I did write a fake script for an episode of Sex and the City where Carrie has sex with a mummy, and it's gross. It gets gross. So I can do it on my own. It's harder to do with Ezra, and even then it wasn't gross enough. I had to keep getting notes to gross it up and gross it further. And it does get gross now. It's really nasty. And I put...
Don't need to get grosser. I feel like...
It could get grosser.
Alex, we just need to find a writing...
But
why not?
That's available in the old Read and Weep feed. If you wanted to go back, you could listen to a live reading of that.
We just clearly need to find our writing unicorn if we're going to do this.
Oh, it's gross when you say
Writing
that one. And
pineapple.
then one other comment is, we were talking about the weird list. Last week, Prof Parm said, Old Gamer's Almanac, Hunter's other podcast, did a re-ranking episode after 50. I think you should go 5 times harder and do a re-ranking every 10 where you actually try to hold things to evaluate these things on their strengths. And let's see if Boy Stink shoots up the rankings.
Boy Stink, we gotta rebrand if we want Boy Stink to shoot up.
I think there might be a different video game episode that we're able to put together now. I think we've learned one of the ways to structure a topic and to structure the conversation. We're getting better at that. So I think a re-ranking is in order, but I do kind of want to do a revisit as well of a couple topics. And I think group video games and stand-up comedy both need to be revisited a little bit harder.
Absolutely.
But in the meantime, we're going to continue ever forward. Next week, we have a brand new episode. Next week, we are either going to be talking about powerlifting or bean and cheese burritos.
Logical.
And I don't know
next
which
two
one
steps.
yet.
It makes sense. It'd go down. Always going to be those two.
This is our guest, my friend Rachel, is going to be here, and she cannot decide between which of these two things she wants to make us talk about. She is a power lifter, but she also eats a lot of bean and cheese burritos, and she cannot decide which is the best thing ever. So we're going to be one of those two things. Which would you
either
you
the
want to
most
talk
delicious
about more?
weights or the heaviest bean and cheese burritos is what I would go for.
I think because we just did food, I kind of want to hear about powerlifting because I know nothing about
same.
it. But also, I like bean and cheese burritos, and I don't like lifting anything heavy. So, but all that is coming up next week. Let's get out of here. All right, that is it for our show. Our theme music is by @Metrix. Our logo designed by Tom Typography. You can find us on social media at BTE Pod, on Twitter and Instagram. You can also watch the show on YouTube at Alex Falcone. Please leave us an honest 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get podcasts if they have a reviewing system. And if you want to give us any feedback, you can comment anywhere or you can email us mail@bestthingeverpodcast.com. The people who make the show possible are our producers, the Duke of Jill, the best assistant regional manager, Sean, and Claire, job title TBD, who all donated. Those are at the producer level on our Patreon, patreon.com/BTEpod. If you join the Patreon, you can help keep this show going. You can keep us swimming in Waffle House, or not, because Hunter didn't actually go. I should have known you don't seem tired enough to have gotten back at 4 o'clock.
my favorite thing to do
Why?
on the show.
Be a filthy liar. You can also buy merch for this show at bestthingeverpodcast.com, and you can look at the Fauxchella lineup at fauxchella.art. My name is Alex Falcone. I'm at Alex_Falcone on TikTok until the government takes it away. Thanks for being here,
thank
Ezra.
my social media hive mind for all their great orders they put in. So Jen, Bethy, Andrew, Javier, Lori, Ira, Judy, Taylor, Clark, Joe, Andrew, and Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Who all wanted their hash browns scattered. And then we insulted them for that. You can also you can subscribe to Ezra's Substack at deletетhisnewsletter.substack.com. Anthony will hopefully be feeling better and join us again next week. And you can listen to Hunter on Old Gamer's Almanac, his other podcast where they re-rank stuff every cowardly 50 episodes.
Yeah, hey, thank you. It's a fun show. Check it out if you like video games. Also, if you want to see my stand-up, I've been posting clips on Instagram. I'm getting into that game. So you can follow me on Instagram at HungryHunty, which is the second time we've mentioned that on this podcast.
Empty plates of food and your excellent stand-up.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, we will talk to everybody next week. Goodbye.
Bye.